Let's bring them out. Their starter for your Utah team.
This is and the starting group for the Grizzlies.
6'4".
Morant. Is the Bain out on the wing. Jaren Jackson is out there with MP. And it's Wells in at the 3 spot. And for the Jazz. In it forward, it's going to be Markkanen and Collins. The guard pair. It's George and Sexton. And it's Kessler in at the 5. Here on opening day. And what a great day it is. Greg, what are these players feeling as they tip off this new season?
It is always exciting to start a new season. Players are just filled with hope and optimism, especially after putting in all that offseason work.
Now here's Morant. Here's MP. Kessler with the rebound.
Well, the defense was giving him that one, but he made the shot more difficult than it needed to be. You got to play smart.
Here's Sexton. The Grizzlies pull it in. And, of course, this is the first they've seen of this Utah ball club since last year.
Yeah, and they lost the season series to this squad last time around. Maybe a little extra motivation tonight to show they've improved.
Outside, Markkanen. And just over a minute played here in the start of the game. In the corner, Collins with it. Back to Markkanen. 6 on the shot clock. George against Bain, and it's George missing. And here's MP. He'll bring it up for the Memphis Grizzlies. You know, Greg, thinking back to the glory days in Utah, they went to back-to-back finals in 97 and 98.
Unfortunately, though, Kevin, that Stockton-Malone era, they just couldn't overcome the dynastic Bulls. The Jazz still searching for that first NBA title.
Memphis shooting their first free throws of the night right here.
And their free throw percentage as a unit last year, 76%, right around the middle of the road.
And both free throws good for MP. It's an odd stat, but what I'm going to throw out there anyway, the Memphis Grizzlies set an NBA record last season for players used in a season.
Kevin, this isn't football, right? They had 33 different guys suited up last season. That tells you how difficult it was. Constant change, hard to build chemistry, and let's face it, hard to win games.
Bain with the bucket.
Yeah, Bain is a talented scorer. Not just a perimeter threat, he's also capable of finishing inside.
Now, here's Sexton. To the right side. Kessler finds Collins. Sexton for 3. It's rebounded by Memphis. The drive by Bain.
Well, nice take from Bain. Solid at noticing holes in defenses and exploiting them.
And that last look brought to you by the AT&T 5G Slam Cam. Bain against Sexton. Morant with some nice D.
All right, I'm just going to say it. He's 0 for the game. Might be time to stop shooting the ball.
And it's out of bounds. They say it was last touched by Markkanen. Let's check in with our reporter, David Aldridge.
Thanks, Kevin. Caught up with Will Hardy a few minutes ago. Now, Desmond Bain was the topic, and Coach was effusive with his praise. He said Bain is a great catch-and-shoot guy, but he'll find ways to contribute no matter what. He also said Bain is hard to game plan for, but they'll do their best not to let him get in rhythm. And they will have their hands full tonight, guys.
Thank you, David. Here's Collier after the made shot from MP. Here's Clarkson. It's good, and he makes his first shot of the game.
Yeah, the mid-range is the sweet spot for Clarkson. He does a lot of damage from there.
And last season, with all the injuries for the Memphis Grizzlies, Jaren Jackson had to play a bigger role and was effective.
Yeah, Kevin, I think we were all a little surprised at his offensive game. You know, he got more opportunity, and we saw him. He also played more at the center spot, you know, so he's become a great two-way player. We knew he was always an elite defender.
Absolutely. And that one's good. MP's got 6.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Pass to Filipowski. Going inside.
Nice pass. What a heady play by Clarkson.
A chance at a 2-for-1 if they want it.
If I'm them, I try it.
That's tipped. 26 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Clock at 6. Down low. Here's MP. Good. And the nice assist from Morant. 8 points for MP.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They keep getting it in the paint and continue to score consistently.
Filipowski passes to Markkanen. Outside Collins. Some solid defense there from Jackson. And so it's Memphis holding on to an 8-point lead heading into the break. They're pounding the ball inside, and that's where they've... deciding to change it up. Now let's take a moment to get your guys' take on the scoring so far for Memphis.
Well, their game plan has been very effective so far. They're working the ball inside, putting constant pressure on the defense.
And they've also been effective from beyond the arc tonight. And if that continues, guys, it can really open up the rest of their offense.
So on the floor for Memphis, they've got Ja Morant. Santi Aldama is out there with Jaren Jackson. Then it's MP. And it's Wells in at the 2. Greg, you know this. Good coaches give their players confidence. But what's the balance there between affirmation and accountability?
Well, when you believe in a player, that also comes with expectations. So a coach has to boost them up and also demand that they deliver.
And an unfortunate trend for the Utah Jazz stand the past couple seasons, losing the battle of possessions.
Yeah, Kevin, and that's hard to overcome. When you turn the ball over at a high rate and then at the other end you don't force any turnovers, you're losing that possession game all the time. Now, fortunately, they rebound the ball well, and that helps a little, but it doesn't totally solve the problem.
Sexton the pass to Collier. Pass to Filipowski. Nice ball movement by Utah. Another miss by Utah.
And physically, there's no doubt they've been the stronger team. A +10 rebound advantage tells you all you need to know.
And with an update from the sidelines, let's check in with David Aldridge.
Kevin, the Grizzlies retired Marc Gasol's number 33 last season. You may recall he moved to Memphis in his teens, watching his older brother Powell play for the Grizz. Mark said, "I had a very unique perspective, that of a fan. When I came back as a Grizzlies player, I carried that with me." Kevin, that pride certainly showed.
Pride's a great word to use. No question, DA. Thank you. Passes it to Filipowski. Shoots over Morant. Nice follow through on the fadeaway. Filipowski's got his second bucket of the game to go. And the Grizzlies leading by 20. Here's Morant. Up and in, off to an efficient start. 2 for 3 from the field.
Another good play. This is how they built the lead, calling on the right guys at the right time.
Yeah, come on. They're just having their way out there and continuing to press the advantage.
Collier. Morant with some nice D. And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair. Memphis out in front. And after a very lopsided first half, we'll see if things play out a little more evenly here in the second. Desmond Bane really making a difference here.
Yeah, and just look at the numbers from the first half. He has been very efficient.
Yeah, it's not like he's getting everything at the rim. He's playing smart and just taking what the defense gives him.
Wing pair will be Sexton and Markkanen. The pairing up front, it'll be Collins and Kessler. And it's George in at the 1. That's the group right now for Utah.
Inexcusable defense. You can't let Kessler get established inside like this.
And he wasn't about to do anything that would get him in trouble there.
Nope, up and in with a one-hand finish, the most basic possible. Sexton against Bane. Sexton the pass to Kessler. Outside, Sexton. The shot by George, wide open. Sinks the three-pointer. George has got himself going there, his first points of the game on the deep ball. Greg Collins Sexton, still so young. He entered the league when he was just 19.
Yeah, drafted back in 2018. Sexton has a few years left in his 20s, so you expect him to continue to expand his game and improve on both ends.
And out of bounds as Memphis gains possession.
Well, look. Plays like that are exactly why they find themselves in such a...
2 of 3 from the stripe tonight.
And 88 from the line a season ago. He was one of the best shooters in the league.
And for the Grizzlies, 2024 stand was marked by an unprecedented amount of injuries.
Well, Kevin, they used 51 different starting lineups. That's the most in NBA history, and they were also forced to use 12 injury hardship exceptions. That is just incredibly bad luck.
Outside for Sexton. Had a chance there to cut it to single digits, but it's off target.
The edge on the glass is the difference. It's allowed them to build this lead.
And that one's good by Clark.
Fantastic ball movement. They're picking them apart with their passing.
Now Clarkson puts up a 3, and that shot was up in time but doesn't go in. Well, through 3 quarters of play, down double digits, it may be difficult to overcome. And let's go back to a terrific pass that we're calling tonight our State Farm assist of the game.
Just true artistry right there. I mean, great decision on where to go with the ball, and how about the perfect delivery?
Wow, that was an absolute masterpiece of an assist. He knew exactly when to deliver the ball, and it made for a beautiful score.
And we reach the 4th quarter in a game that may be already out of hand. On the court for Memphis to start the 4th. Morant is the point with Bane out on the wing. Jackson is out there with Santi Aldama. And it's MP in at the 5 spot. Shot clock at 6. Here's Collier. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line. And Stan, we seem to be in the midst of a big man renaissance in the NBA. And I love it. So that being said, which of these big stars do you like the most?
Well, that's a tough question because there's so much talent and they're all different. You've got Embiid, who is unstoppable offensively. You've got Wembanyama with his combination of size and length, skill and agility. You've got guys who can shoot the ball. But the guy that combines the most of those things that I would take, Nikola Jokic.
And they've really gotten on track here in the second half. After that shaky start, the field goal percentage steadily climbing. They couldn't make anything in that first break.
Wells in the corner. That three off the mark.
And they had some botched coverage that turned into no coverage.
Sexton up top, guarded by Morant. Shoots from 8, and the rejection by MP.
+8 in the rebound differential. One more reason why they're in control.
And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for the Grizzlies.
Well, they're shot blocking. The defensive effort level has been great. You got to love that intensity.
And also, guys, they've been showing how dangerous they are in the open floor. When they see a chance to get easy points, boy, they just jump at it.
Wells passes to MP. Fade away. Utah with the rebound. Second minute off the clock now in the fourth. Here's Collier. Outside, Sexton. Looking to get it going. Comes up empty down low.
Well, I hate to say it, but he hasn't done a lot to help their cause tonight. He's been a little erratic from the floor.
Jackson finds MP. Collins with some nice D. Jazz trail by 14. Inside. Here's Collier. Doesn't go that time. Morant with some nice D. And so Morant will bring it up for Memphis. Now the pass to MP. Wells in the corner. Outside, Bain. And the officials calling for a 3-second violation. And the Jazz with some... Well, if you're just tuning in, welcome. We've got about 3.5 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter. Here's MP. An easy 2 points on the layup. And the Grizzlies lead by 16.
And this is going to end in a lopsided victory. I love the tenacity and aggressiveness as well as the ability to close. You really got to give it up here for the Grizzlies.
Their hard work on the glass paid off.
I tell you what, they're both excellent rebounding teams, and it was a tough battle underneath all game. And I think ultimately that earned the W.
And it'll go down as their first official win of the new year.
And against a conference opponent, always good to take that first win of the season series to establish a psychological edge.
And so many times we see someone step up and take charge. And tonight that happened here. It was a nice performance for MP.
You have to love the way that he was closing out on defensive trips. He would always body up, and it's why he ended with so many goals. Yeah, they've sucked the energy out of this arena. Tremendous effort on the road.
Yeah, and winning games on the road is huge, especially when you get them in such a convincing fashion.
And looks like the illegal pick was set. Yep, that's right. That'll get their attention.
And not the most common call.
So no problem for Memphis as they get the win. This one was over well before the final buzzer. The fans were waiting for something to get excited about, Greg, but they never got it.
And they sure didn't. I mean, they just rolled to this win. They made it look really easy. What an efficient performance at both ends.
That concludes the first game of the NBA season. With Stan Van Gundy, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge,
TGIF, everyone. It's the NBA on 2K Sports. And here's Memphis's starting group. Manning the backcourt, we'll see Morant and Bane. Jaren Jackson out there with MP. And it's Wells in at the 3. And for Houston, Green is the 2 with Brooks at the 3. Alperon Şengün out there with Thompson. And it's Van Vliet in at the point guard position. It's still early in the season, Grant, but most coaches have their rotations worked out by now.
They really do, but if they don't, they better figure it out soon. You don't want to be tinkering with your lineups any later than this.
And it's the Rockets with the ball. The Grizzlies making their last shot. Out to Thompson. 6 on the shot clock. Green against Bane. Fires away from way outside. That won't go. Misses his first shot of the game. And so MP will bring it up for the Grizzlies. Wells misses. Outside, Green. Van Vliet on the wing. Poked loose. Pass to Şengün. Fires from deep. Second chance shot. And it's Brooks missing. MP, the pass to Bane. Back to MP. It's rebounded by Şengün. The Rockets have gone 0 for 3 from the floor to begin this one. The Rockets went from 22 to 41 wins last year, finishing right at 500, Clark.
Great progress by Houston. Just missed the play-in in the West. They would have easily made that same play-in tournament in the East. A huge step forward for the Rockets, no doubt. And I think it's a team that can sustain that trajectory.
Green for 3. The basket's good. Off the assist from Thompson.
Hey, this team has great confidence in Green's ability to connect from deep. It's really about getting him quality looks.
MP. And it's in there. MP's gotten his second bucket of the game. Houston has gone 1 of 4 from deep. On the attack, Green. Clark, what catches your eye about Jalen Green at a fundamental level?
Well, it starts with his pure explosiveness. That just jumps out at anybody because he's jumping over everybody, okay? The way he can get up and down the floor and hang and lift, that's what stands out, his athleticism. And he's actually rounding off some of the rough edges in his game that makes him kind of scary as we go forward.
And keeping us updated from the sideline, Allie LaForce.
I did get a chance to speak with Houston's head coach, and we discussed his plan for John Morant. Coach smiled and said, I just told my guys to stay ready out there, ready for anything, because Morant can do so many surprising things. We just have to stay on our toes. Hopefully that flexible mindset helps the defense keep up with Morant's antics out there. B.A.?
Great work, Allie. Thanks. Now here's Van Vliet. And it's Bane with the rebound. And that's good. His first bucket of the game.
Yeah, right there with Bane, you see the advantage of size and toughness in the backcourt.
Timeout called. Houston. They're getting their first look of the season at the Grizzlies in this one.
Yeah, they beat this team in the season series last year. But what's that really saying?
We got to be honest here, which is really the only way I roll. Neither of these teams are world beaters. I mean, but you've got to start somewhere. A win tonight would be a step.
Grizzlies lead by 6. Van Vliet and Green, they're manning the backcourt. Smith and Şengün play together in the front court. And it's Eason in at the 3. That's the 5 for Houston right now. Jackson, the pass to MP. And the basket is good. MP's got 8.
Setting each other up beautifully. I love it. 8 of their last 10 points coming off assists.
You know, nothing makes a coach happier than selflessness on the basketball court.
Another shot. Şengün. It's rebounded by Memphis.
That's the shot you hope for. Right at the rim. Just couldn't capitalize.
Tries it from 16. It's rebounded by Şengün. Rockets trail by 8. They're searching for a way to score.
Yeah, buckets have been very tough to come by.
Now Green. He played a great game against Charlotte. Green going at the D. Oh, and Jackson with the block.
I mean, if I was out there, I'd probably test anyone but Jackson Jr.
For Houston, they've got none of their first 3 shots to fall so far in the second. And he lobs it up to the rim. Stolen away. Nice job to interrupt the alley-oop attempt.
Well, that was clearly a foul.
Yeah, he took a shot there, earned those free throws.
And a moment here to take a look at some hustle stats for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I love the energy and aggressiveness I've seen from them on defense. They're really getting after it with all these blocks.
And, guys, we've also seen them do a great job with steals. I know that's a stat that can cut both ways. It's not always meaningful, but those turnovers forced can turn into easy baskets at times.
And Houston making a change here. Brooks is checked in. Back to Van Vliet. Shot clock at 6. Over MP. Up again.
You know, at the end of the day, size does matter, especially on the glass.
Right side Morant. Back to MP. Morant finds MP. Now here's Jackson. And a great assist by Morant as that one goes. Morant's got his 3rd assist of the night.
They're not messing around. 5 of their last 6 buckets have come from the interior.
After 3 straight playoff appearances, the Grizzlies sadly missed the postseason in 2024, Grant.
You know, really by no fault of their own, BA. Injuries ruined what fans were hoping would be a big year for them. You know, it just goes to show there's no safe bets in this league.
Pass to Van Vliet. Back to Brooks. Launches it. Memphis with a rebound. MP's got 4 rebounds in the game. And it's Morant with the ball for the Memphis Grizzlies. Following this game, they host the Magic. That game marks the start of a 4-game homestand for the club.
And even if he isn't the biggest, strongest guy out there, Bane can still do damage inside.
Now a timeout called by Houston. Well, Grant, as you always say, in the playoffs, you need a player who can score in isolation.
That's true, BA.
And so it's the Memphis Grizzlies closing out the quarter ahead by 11 points. Defense is setting the tone. Back after this. And with a big gap on the scoreboard, the second half begins with very different goals for these teams. One side trying to mount a comeback, one side trying to protect their lead. It's stolen by MP on the court for Memphis. Manning the backcourt, we'll see Morant and Bane. MP is out there with Jaren Jackson. And it's Wells in at the 3, the small forward.
One of the faster players in the league, end to end. I mean, few people can run with Morant.
And here is Green. Pass to Şengün. Fires the 3. The rebound by Jackson.
Defensively, you pick your poison. That time, they gambled off the right guy.
And let's swing it over to the sideline and hear from Allie.
Well, similarities in the games of Alperen Şengün and Nikola Jokic. A couple years back, Jokic suggested that Houston run their offense more through him, and they have. Jokic said that's going to benefit the whole organization. He wants to pass and play for the team. They'll move when the ball is in his hands. Brian?
Well, Jokic would know. Thanks, Allie. MP. Ooh, coming through again. Shooting 5 for 7 now.
The way Morant sets up his teammates is as good as any guard in this league.
And one thing that Morant has always been elite at, finding a seam in the defense and getting to the rim, Grant.
Yeah, any crack allows him to get inside. And as good as anyone at splitting a double, which he sees a lot of. So once inside, he can finish with authority or kick it out to a shooter.
Pure from three-point range.
He drops yet another dime, just facilitating this offense like a maestro.
Well, when you look at the assist totals, heck, they've been clearly the better team.
Pass to Brooks. Back to Van Vliet. Outside, Green. And it's MP with a rebound. MP's got a rebound number 5 here tonight.
Trailing here in the game, you can look at his performance as a direct indicator of why they're losing.
Here's Morant. It's good. And he drew contact on the shot, so he will go to the line. A three-point play opportunity. And this is his first trip to the line tonight. The free throw drops for Morant. After years of finishing at the bottom of the West, things are looking up for the Rockets, Clark.
You know, B.A., they've done a really good job of drafting and developing players. That combination can allow you to move forward. And along with signing complementary veterans, that adds to the mix as well. And they've done a nice job, and they've got future draft capital too, so the Rockets are certainly on the rise.
Here's MP. Good, and the setup by Morant. Morant's got 8 assists in the game.
I just love the ball movement.
Inside, here's Thompson. MP with the block.
They've had a slight leg up on the boards and a big leg up on the scoreboard.
Well, you take a look at all of the stats, the team stats that is, and that's one of the many areas that they've had the advantage. And as a result, they've got a big lead.
Here's Thompson. And they're going to count that bucket, and they'll send him to the line. It could be a 3. Rockets trail by 18. Van Vliet and Green, they're manning the backcourt. Amen Thompson out there with Tari Eason. And it's Şengün in at the 5, roaming the paint. So that's who's on the floor for the Rockets. Van Vliet, the pass to Şengün. Gets to the corner and hits it. Şengün's got his first 2 points.
This speaks to how assertive Şengün can be. Love when he makes quick decisions like that there.
And MP with a basket on the assist from Jackson. Jackson's got 3 assists tonight.
They are shooting the lights out and doing a good job of maintaining this lead.
Not many empty trips for this group. It seems everything's falling for them this half.
Van Vliet finds Eason. Uses the glass on the layup.
And he gives up some size inside, but makes a great adjustment on the finish.
Yeah, you know, with that size difference, that's not an easy shot. I mean, I don't care how close to the rim he is, that's a tough shot.
And the bucket is good. MP's got 21.
And he couldn't get an easier shot. The defense right now just looks defeated.
Well, that's exactly the kind of defense that's gotten them into the hole.
Three-pointer, Van Vliet. The rebound by Jackson. Grizzlies lead by 18. To the inside. Here's MP. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by MP. All right, here's a look at the schedule for the Memphis Grizzlies. On Saturday, they go back home and will be hosting the Orlando Magic. Then on Monday, they'll defend home court against the Chicago Bulls.
And looking at the Bucks matchup, It's one that I'm curious about. It'll be their 6th contest of the season for them, and a game that should have a lot of great matchups.
Here's Şengün. And finally, they hit one. Şengün's got 4 points in the quarter.
That is what Şengün brings this team, the ability to turn misses into makes, doing the dirty work down low.
MP no good.
Well, what appeared to be an easy 2 points just never materialized.
Van Vliet. And Van Vliet again missing.
You know, he just has not been himself this period. Just too inconsistent up and down at the offense.
Here's Wells. Green covering. Here's MP. Oh, the turnaround jumper. Count it. 23 points in the game.
Being opportunistic, just taking what the defense allows.
You know, more and more big guys in the league have that mid-range shot in their bag now, and they need it.
Here's Van Vliet. And the layup is good.
We've seen Van Vliet become a really good outside shooter, but I think he's still at his best going to the rim.
And so it's Morant who brings up the ball for the Memphis Grizzlies. Fourth quarter keeps moving along. 3 minutes gone by now. And the basket by MP.
Absolutely ruthless. He's not about to start showing mercy now.
Guys, when you're this hot, it's elementary. Let it fly. Keep staying at it.
All right, time for an injury report. Now for an update on Brandon Clarke's injury. Let's go to Allie LaForce.
Hi, guys. The head athletic trainer for the Grizzlies provided us some information. Looks like there was severe cramping in the thigh, involuntary muscle contractions, which they're trying to alleviate now. Any injury is the last thing you want this earlier in the year. A bad break for them, Brian.
Okay, thanks for the update. Good to get that information. Now we know how things are coming along.
Factor with injuries that can be so hard to handle.
And, you know, for him, just watching his teammates unable to contribute, that's really a helpless feeling.
Brooks, he's checked in for Eason. Out of bounds, Rockets ball as Houston keeps possession.
Coming out here tonight and making a statement. Really good work all around
for the Grizzlies.
Well, Grant, I don't know if there was one deciding factor in this game, but I'd say shooting accuracy if I had to choose.
Agreed, B.A. They really went after quality looks and shot the ball with confidence.
And this one concludes with their 2nd victory of the year.
It's just the start of this season series with 3 games left between them, but it must feel great to take the first meeting.
And it will be a fight. When you see an opponent that many times, it's inevitable that those games take on a little extra added meaning for the players.
And even the opposing fans can't deny this was a sensational game for MP.
An unbelievable scoring performance. He absolutely took over and never let up.
Good, and the setup by Morant. And the Grizzlies lead by 18.
Stepping up and nailing an important shot to put this away.
And, you know, this run shows what kind of attitude this team has. I mean, the win is there. Go get it.
Van Vliet, the pass to Green. Van Vliet against Morant. Clock at 6. Late clock. Houston's got to hurry. Şengün, no good. Morant with it. MP outside. Fires from 14. It's rebounded by Şengün. Here's Van Vliet to the paint. Outside for Brooks. And so it's the Grizzlies taking care of business in this one. To walk into enemy territory and deliver a performance like that, that says a lot about this squad.
They really came in looking confident and didn't let anything shake them. This is what a dominant team looks like.
And that'll do it, folks. For Clark Kellogg, Grant Hill, and Allie LaForce, this is Brian Anderson. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.